So this afternoon we're here, the ladies from CCL North, which is part of the Optimum Eco Group, and again one of the businesses on the first North Ayrshire cohort for the Net Zero Accelerator, and it's great to see thought leaders in the industry. Obviously, you guys are obviously heavily involved in recycling and things like this anyway, so to me it seemed like a great fit, but it'd be good to get your guys' views. So what motivated you, yourself personally, and the business to get involved in a net zero journey, and actually specifically onto a net zero accelerator programme?
So for us, we already do a lot of work in recycling, and we like to think that we're the best in Europe at what we do, if not worldwide. What we wanted to do was streamline it more. You know, we already do a lot of reporting and things like that, but actually at the moment, what we were finding was that when it came to the reporting side of it, there were so many different aspects. Everybody was, you know, measuring their carbon differently.
Yeah.
So when we'd heard about the cohorts and net zero and what they were trying to do and bringing everything into one kind of streamlined way of doing it, it made sense for us to, you know, look at it and certainly get involved in it.
Yeah.
I found it really worthwhile from a personal point of view. Having not been in this industry for long at that point, I think I've been here just over a year. It certainly it got me up to speed a bit, and certainly I found that was really useful. But what I also enjoyed was the networking side and getting to meet some of the other members.
Good. And what were your initial thoughts on the programme? So when you first come on, because what we've found is that people come on with an expectation, right? We see that expectation of what they're going to achieve at the end of it developing. So what was your thoughts when you first come in?
So I would say I was quite open-minded because I didn't really know what to expect, and it was really good. It was really clear. I think I attended 3 of the sessions at the beginning. The initial one obviously was just introducing everybody and doing a bit of networking, a bit of an overview on what to expect, and then really you kind of stepped into that side of it and kind of got more involved in the technical aspect of it.
So my initial thoughts, I would say, I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew we were going to be doing carbon accounts. I wasn't sure how much support we were going to get. I had an awful lot of questions rather than thoughts. I
can remember our first meeting.
How many questions can I ask before everyone gets annoyed? But I can honestly say that they have the patience of saints.
You're now kind of getting close to the completion of your first year. So what's the differences in what your expectations of what you've now got compared to what you thought you were going to get at the beginning?
It has totally exceeded what I thought. I did not expect that level of support. It has been so steady paced. It's been so easy to chat to everyone about it, and it's been great to speak to other businesses that are maybe having the same sort of questions and the same challenges as we are. But it's been fascinating to see how the carbon accounts have developed.
What do you think you've learned from analysing your carbon accounts that you probably didn't know before?
So we assumed that our fleet would emit the most CO2, but actually it turns out that it's employee commuting.
Yeah.
We really did not foresee that, but it has been great to also see how we calculate that, what methods are used, and using the spreadsheet and have everybody on the back front just explaining how it all works so that we can then take the reins for the next year and start working towards things ourselves.
Yeah, because I think we get that quite a lot where you hear people saying we thought it would be this, but it's actually that. And it's these are things that you wouldn't really think about. You're just going, well, people just get back involved to their work. It's not really, we don't need to worry about that. But then when you look at it, you go, do you know what? That is a big chunk of what. If we want to make a difference, how can we think differently about that? One valuable takeaway that you can have from the programme. So, what do you think the biggest value has been?
The biggest takeaway for me has been that in the very beginning, I believed that it was going to be a very long and difficult journey, but it has actually been amazing to see so many people like-minded, so many other businesses on the same path, and the amount of resources out there are unbelievable. So I would say go for it. It seems like a really difficult thing to do, but it's really not. The second that you start just putting a wee couple hours aside every week and just dedicate that time to it, it becomes really easy.
From my point of view, it's the networking and the wider community. It's been great to meet other people who, it was, when I first went in, everyone within the group was at different stages. the majority being very much, we've never done this, we don't know what we're doing, and it's been great to meet those. Also within the group, but outer cohorts as well, you know, some that are at different stages, like yourself, who was in, I think, your second year, you were starting at that point.
We're the first initial pilot one, I suppose you call it, so we were through our second year and then
going into third. But just to see everybody's journeys and actually build on those relationships with the different companies, getting business between each other, from companies that you've never have spoken to prior. When you start to meet the people, you talk about what you do, you learn more about them, and then before you know it, you've told somebody who's, you know, they're looking for such and such, oh actually I know such and such, and you know, and those kind of links then grow and grow. And it's also one of the things I found really interesting was certainly, you know, on the social media side of things, was people talking about it, and people want it. People want the direction and the support to get, you know, the kind of the reporting done properly. They all want to be on this journey to net zero, and they want to do it correctly. They just don't know where to start. So I think it's a no-brainer. It means you're not wasting your time, because you can actually implement strategies and stick with them and know that they're actually making a difference, and that's really important.
And you can measure that difference now.
Oh, this is it. You're not going down rabbit holes and ending up spending hours and hours and hours changing things that have absolutely no effect on your business, from a carbon perspective or a net zero perspective. So I think it's definitely such a benefit.
So there's different aspects to what we do. We work with IT, we work with electrical waste, and basically anything with a battery, plug or cable attached, we make sure that it's responsibly recycled and nothing goes to landfill, and that is the key to what we do. The equipment will go up the conveyor belt, it will go through the first shredder. There's a magnetic band that will separate metals from any kind of plastic. It then goes through a second shredder and a similar process, and then at the end of it you see the parts are down to 20 mil particles.
This is the refurb area, so any items that we can try and reuse basically come down here. They'll be tested, cleaned up and assessed to see whether they're actually worth reusing or not. If we can reuse them as one whole unit, we'll do that, and if we can't, then we'll strip them down and either reuse the parts to try and save other units, or to sell the parts and stuff like that as well. So we'll just try and maximise reuse.
So what's that? Is that just PCs and screens and stuff like that, or is everything that goes through?
A whole range of things really, So we've got the usual PCs, laptops, all-in-one systems and all that kind of stuff, monitors and peripherals as well. But we also get weird wonderful stuff, so the musical instruments, we've got old vintage computer stuff, and basically any of the stuff that goes through a small wee area that's suitable for reuse. We try and save that as well.
Brilliant. Because I've seen these have got some old stuff
there's a wee museum over there in the corner of stuff that's collected.
I saw it as Spectrum, ZX Spectrum. That was back in my day. Oh, there's paper for you as well, look.
I know, I can still remember that.
Aye, so can I. Yeah, I know. Alien attack up there. It's amazing. So, Dean, what's all this stuff here?
This stuff is just about every single component that comes out of a PC, server, anything like that.
Is it?
Aye, everything that comes in the door, goes on in the factory, eventually comes to the strip down area where we take out every component, everything down to the cables, the wires.
So they come here, so it comes to script, and then these will go into different directions to go into a different part of your process somewhere?
Yep, aye. It goes down the chain to separate places, so separate places will take boards, other places will take cables.
So this is obviously quite crucial in the world that we live in now, is the amount of disposable waste. So I'm been told that you're the lady that makes sure that these are actually recycled properly.
But these are all the different sort of batteries and filters. So you just basically strip it down. Some of them you've got to be really careful because of the wires. See, filter out.
So
that's waste.
The filter just gets binned and everything else is everything.
When it comes to IT, security is, you know, it's our bread and butter. We make sure that everybody understands what's involved from a customer point of view, from a team point of view, from a goods in and a processing point of view. It's entirely down to the customer as to what the requirement is. So it might be that they need full destruction on all equipment, or it can be parts of it they need destroyed and other parts are suitable for reuse. We'll log all assets, serials, make sure, you name it, and do a full audit trail on the equipment.
I was impressed the first time I came in here with this was the actual health and safety side of things and the risk prevention that you've got here. So obviously we do a lot of stuff where we're looking at risk, right? So we're working around different dangerous equipment. So we have to risk assess everything we do. And I thought it was brilliant to see how you have risk assessed this. So could you talk us through that?
Yeah. So when we collect batteries, before we transport them, we put them into tins, and on top we put in an air seal.
Right.
And it just prevents the fire from spreading or even breaking out while it's in transport. Then, once we get here, we separate the batteries into chemistry. And then, above here, we have a bulk bag of sand. So that if a fire was to break out, it will melt the bag, the sand will come through and extinguish the fire before it can spread.
Stripping down, Dylan?
It's like radio equipment.
Radio equipment?
Aye.
Right. So how does it all work? So I see that obviously you're taking the kind of plastic stuff off.
Aye.
Take stuff off plastic. So take all that, all the plastic goes in one area, and then you've got your PCB boards and everything else that goes in there. So how long does it take to strip one of these?
Maybe 20 minutes.
Is that right? Aye, so when you open that up, there's quite a lot of bits and bobs inside that you're using it to make sure you can get separated properly.
Aye. They're in as well.
Right, okay.
They're just hold on them.
Yep.
They're in as well. They're grade B boards because there's none really on them.
So the grading classed on whether precious metal on them, if there's lots of gold on it, they're a grade A, grade B as if it's not getting as much.
Aye.
And it looks like you just get anything that's electrical, electronic.
Everything, mate.
Aye, the TVs, aye, it's amazing. So how much stuff do you go through in here a week, do you think?
Your ring, really.
Thousands of tons.
Thousands of tons, is it? No, and the thing is, because you must see so many different things, it must still get kept interested even after 10 years. Aye, good.
Oh, but you just don't know.
Something new.
Aye, you just don't know your bit.
Aye, brilliant.
Hello there, my name is Jimmy Nolte and I'm a Managing Director of Optimum Eco Group. Optimum Eco Group was formed 2 years ago, and within the group we have 2 factories based in Irvine. We have CCL North and we have Restructa Limited. 2005 Restructa was formed, and Restructa was formed with the view of new legislation which was coming on board called the WE Directive, and it was set up to process displays. So any type of display at that time, predominantly it was cathode ray tube TVs and monitors, but obviously the technology's changed over the years. We've adapted, we've moved on, and we process any type of displays across the board now, whether it's still CRTVs and flat screens as well. Between the 2 businesses we have over 100 employees, well established throughout the country, and we also run a very large transport fleet as well, probably touching 20 vehicles, various sizes. So that's a bit of background on the 2 businesses and where we are at the moment.